Hi friends, Allison here with another 12 by 12 scrapbook layout to share with you. This layout is Cricut themed, Cricut inspired, and was made exclusively with Close to My Heart cardstock and of course my Cricut. So to start, I cut this really sweet honeycomb image overlay with my Cricut from yellow cardstock. I glued that to a white cardstock base. There's just like a 1/4 of an inch border all the way around it. It wouldn't cut at 12 by 12 actually, so I made it 11 3/4 by 11 no, actually it was 11.5 by 11.5, and then adhered that to the white cardstock. Now I'm just putting a tree together. I cut that from espresso and fern cardstock, and I'm using foam squares to adhere it to the layout, just so it pops off of the honeycomb background and gives it a little bit of depth, just to kind of create sort of a distance between the two. So there's something in the foreground and then obviously something in the background. So I am working on my cut file now, which is the title. I cut it from Glacier and yellow cardstock once again. The title is Sweet as Honey. It's a little hard to see right now on the screen, but that is what the title says. And it's going to be adhered with foam squares as well. I was actually wrong. I got a little bit ahead of myself. I adhered the picture next over top of the tree. I just kind of mapped out where it was going to go, and then so by setting it down on the tree, and then put some pop dots, foam squares on it, and then kind of went around the photo where it sagged a little bit, fell between spaces. Well, it doesn't really make sense. But in the places where it sagged between the stuff that was raised up, I just added a little bit more reinforcements, so foam squares, just so that it doesn't droop down in the middle. Now I am working on the title, which is Sweet as Honey. The word honey layers over top of the blue cut file, so it cuts twice. I glued those together with my Tombow Mono liquid glue, and then I'm using foam squares to adhere them. I adhered it a little too far to the right edge of the layout, so I had to pick it up again and move it over, just so I could add the last part of the title. So there's the T, and then as. It didn't cut as one whole image, which is fine. It was just kind of a have to play around a little bit sort of scenario and get it in the right place. So I'm just moving foam squares around just to make sure it works. And now that I've moved it over a little bit further, it's where it should be. It fits nicely inside the base and won't hang off. I'm using some Tombow Mono just to adhere the stuff that no longer has foam squares on it, because they're already placed over top of popped up images. Next, I'm making super cute little bumblebees. There was a lot of little pieces that went together to create this little guy. Lots of little strips to make the yellow portions of his body. So I'm just gluing those to the black silhouette. And once those are done, I'll show you a close-up. There we go. All three of them are done now. I turned the camera off so that you didn't have to sit and die of boredom watching me put all these little bumblebees together. They will be sprinkled around the layout in key places. Next comes a super cute little hive. I found that on the Cricut as well and cut it twice. So there's a darker portion and then the outside lighter portion. They were cut from more Close to My Heart cardstock as well. All of the products that I use today in my layout is going to be listed in the description box below. So if you wanted to check those out at all, because you're curious, you are free to do that. I put one of the bumblebees on the beehive because it just seemed natural to put it there. And then there'll be a few more, one on the title and then another one where the date goes, but I'll show you that in a few minutes. I'm just assembling clouds right now. I didn't feel like this scene would be complete without some clouds floating by in the sky. So I am adhering those together. They're cut mainly from blue cardstock, but there were tiny little white pieces that were cut as well that were meant to be glued on top of the clouds. So I put those together and then stuck them to the layout base. So the clouds are on now. Aren't they cute? I love them. There's two little hearts that are gonna be adhered to the layout later on as well, but we'll get to that in a minute. And here is my date. I love this date stamp. I bought it from Michael's, so it's Recollections, I believe. I don't think it came from Walmart, though it could have. I really think it's Recollections though. And I use it for everything. I am in the market for searching for another one because when it runs out, I think that'll be in a few years or maybe next year. I think it only goes to 2021 or something, 2022. I'll be looking for another one. So if you have any place that you get them and know of that has them, please let me know. So I decided to pull out my wood veneer stash to decorate this layout a little bit further. In my original design, I had an arrow that goes over the O in honey. And I could have cut it from cardstock, but I decided instead, because I knew I had them, that I was going to use wood veneer. So I pulled out my wood veneer arrow. I have a whole bunch of them, but that was the one that won out. It's close to my heart as well. And then I discovered I had little hexagons in my wood veneer stash as well. And so I used them to add to the layout because I thought they were too perfect to just skip and not use. I just pulled out my guillotine paper trimmer to make some strips for my journaling because there's an overlay in the background and it's kind of bumpy and stuff like that. I figured writing directly on the layout wouldn't work. Stamping wouldn't be really great either, though that had crossed my mind as well. So the next best thing was creating strips. Now I could have stamped on those too, but I wasn't up to it. Truth be told, I just wanted to be done with it, write down my thoughts and move on. So I just used my black journaling pen and wrote down my journaling on that. The last little strip I did flip over because I realized I had spaced the words out too much and couldn't finish my thought. So I flipped it over and used the reverse side before throwing it onto the layout. They are adhered once again with my foam squares. There's lots of foam squares on this layout today. Lots of dimension. I love it. The picture that I'm scrapbooking, because I'm fairly certain I haven't mentioned that yet, is Miss Ava, our cat, who is sitting above me on the couch, but she has her paw stretched out so that she can still touch me and get that physical connection. When she's not in the mood for cuddling, this is her way of showing her love, which I think is super duper sweet. And that's where this title came from, Sweet as Honey, because that's what this girl is. I've never met a cat that is like her. She's unreal. With that, my friends, this layout is done. I'm just adding those wood veneer and I'll adhere them with my liquid Tombow Mono glue, and that's that. There are some close-ups at the end of this video as well, so if you want to check those out, you are welcome to do that. And like I said, all the products that I use today will be in the description box below, so you can check that out. I do have a Cricut Access subscription. If you're interested in subscribing to Cricut Access, you can actually do that right from my Close to My Heart shop. There's a link at the bottom of the home page, landing page. Just look for the little Cricut icon, click on that, and you will be brought directly to Cricut and you can shop from there. Anything available in Cricut online is available from my affiliate link as well. So it's an easy way to get shopping done. and you can still get all the same fabulous products at Cricut.com that you would on my affiliate link, if that makes sense. Thank you so much for joining me. I will see you again next Monday with another video. Thanks so much, guys. Bye.